Hello everyone, welcome back to Learniverse. Today we are diving into the world of loops, specifically the for loop in C. We will cover its syntax, execution flow, multiple use cases, and even common mistakes to avoid. Whether you are just starting out or refining your skills, this session will give you everything you need to master for loops. Let's jump right in. What is a for loop? It executes a block of code repeatedly. It is ideal when the number of iterations is predetermined. Here is a syntax. It has three main parts: initialization part, condition, increment or decrement. Let's understand one by one. Initialization means it sets the starting value for the loop. Condition, here loop runs as long as this particular condition evaluates to true. Increment or decrement, it updates the loop variable after each iteration. Let's consider one basic example. It prints numbers from 1 to 5. This is the code snippet. Here we have initialized to 1 and condition we are checking against less than or equal to 5, the value of I, and also we have an increment statement here. Now let's understand the execution path. So during the first iteration, I is 1 and the condition we are going to check is I less than or equal to 1. Yes, it is true, and then it will be printed as 1, so I will be incremented to 2. Coming to the second iteration, here I is 2 and 2 less than or equal to 5. Yes, it is true, so 2 will be printed and I will be incremented to 3. During the third iteration, I is 3 and 3 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true and 3 will be printed and I will become 4. During the fourth iteration, I is 4, condition is also true, 4 is less than or equal to 5, so 4 is printed and I will become 5. During the fifth iteration, I less than or equal to 5, which means 5 is equal to 5, so it is still true, and then 5 will be printed and I will be incremented to 6. Now 6 is not less than or equal to 5. 6 is greater than 5, right? So it will be condition will be false and then it will exit the loop. Here you can see the output. 6 is not printed here. Now let's understand infinite loop. Infinite loop is nothing but a for loop that can run indefinitely if the condition never becomes false. So here is a code example along with the syntax. Uh, so here we can, in this case, the loop has no condition. You can see here, and it keeps running forever. You can use it with a break statement to exit based on certain logic condition. Here you can see the print, whatever is coming is continuously coming, and it will go on forever. Now let's see reverse loop. We can also run a loop in reverse direction. So let's consider one example where it prints numbers from 5 to 1. So 5 to 1 means the initialization should be 5, and then we have to check against the lower value whether it is greater than or equal to that lower value. So let's understand the execution explanation as well. So initially it is 5, 5 will be printed and it will be decremented to 4. Then 4 will be checked against that condition. Again it is still true. Then it will be decremented to 3. So like this, once it becomes 0, so 0 is less than 1, right? So which means here the condition will become false and it will exit the loop. So here you can see 0 will not be printed. And coming to nested for loops, a for loop can be nested inside another for loop. So this is very much useful for our multi-dimensional tasks like printing a grid. So let's consider one example. Here you have the outer for loop. This is an outer for loop and this is an inner for loop. So let's understand execution explanation. Outer for loop, with respect to outer for loop, when I equal to 1, inner for loop executes 3 times. When I is 1, inner for loop executes 3 times. When I is 2, again inner for loop executes 3 times. when I is 3, again inner for loop will be executed 3 times. So when we do all these things, it will be printed like this. I can also show the output, how what will be the output for this particular logic. You can pause the video and look into it. So here you can skip specific iterations using continue statements. Here I can show one example. So where we have for loop and also if condition. It is like whenever I becomes 3, then you continue to skip the rest of the code for this particular iteration. So here it is like when I equals to 3, the continue statement skips the print to the next iteration. From here only directly it will increment the value and check for the next condition. So here you can see when I equal to 1 it is printing, when I equal to 2 again it is printing, when I equal to 3 it is skipping the remaining code and it is going to increment the value and then again it will check. So when it is 4 it is coming properly, when it is 5 it is coming properly. So this is the importance of continue statement. Now breaking out of a loop. So here break statement will be used and it allows you to exit the loop early. Let's consider one example, the same example what we have seen in the previous slide. So here instead of continue we have break, which means when I becomes 3 it will come out of the loop. So here when I is 3 the break statement stops the loop completely, which means when if we look at the execution explanation, so here you can see when iteration during the first iteration I is equal to 1 and it is printed as 1, so this is executed. When I is 2 this is executed. When I is 3, so it goes inside the if condition and it will execute break and it will come out of the loop. Here you can see the output. Now let's understand what are the common mistakes that we need to avoid. So first one is always update the loop variable to prevent infinite loops. Second one is double check your conditions to ensure the loop runs as expected. Third one is you need to give proper attention to boundary conditions to avoid off by one errors. So let's understand one by one. Suppose if we are forgetting to update the loop variable, so it may end up in infinite loop. For example, if the loop variable, that is nothing but I, is not updated in each iteration, the condition will never become false, so which will result in infinite loop. Let's understand with the code example. So here you can see we have initialized to value 1 and we have the condition as well, but there is no increment uh, section here for variable I. So in this case it will be like during the first iteration the condition is true and 1 will be printed, and during the next iteration there is no increment parameter right here, so it remains as 1 only. So considering this condition never becomes false, so which is causing an infinite loop here. You can see 1 will be printed and it will go on forever. And how we can fix this? So we can add the increment step here in the loop so that we can overcome from the infinite loop. Now second one is using incorrect conditions. It can result in 0 or infinite iterations. So here what will be the common mistake is if the condition is incorrect, the loop might run 0 times or infinitely. For example, using a wrong operator or initializing the variable improperly can result in this issue. So first let's understand 0 iterations scenario. Here condition is false at the beginning itself. So we have initialized to 10 and we are checking against 10 less than or less than 5. So which means at the beginning itself the condition is false. So the loop body will never execute. Hence we will not get any output. And coming to infinite iterations part, here condition will never be false. So in this case, I is incremented by 2 in each iteration. So starting from 1, it will skip over 5 and never meet the condition like I not equal to 5. So which will which is causing the infinite loop here. And off by 1 errors, there are two types here. Maybe I can tell what is the mistake here. So off by 1 errors happen when the loop condition or initialization is slightly incorrect, which means either leading to one extra or one less iteration than expected. So let's understand one by one. So first one is one extra iteration. So here we can consider one code example where here the loop condition includes 5, but we want only 4 values 1, 2, 3, 4, but condition itself includes 5. So in this case, we end up getting 5 values. How we can fix this? So here we have added less than or equal to 5. So if we want only 4 values, then better to put less than 5 so that we will get only 4 values. So in this way we can fix it. And coming to the second one less iteration. Suppose we want 5 values and we have mentioned the condition as less than 5. In this case we get only 4 values. So you can see in the output we'll get only 4. How we can fix this? If we want 5 values, then we have to provide the proper condition less than or equal to 5. Then we get the proper 5 values. So this is how we can handle off by 1 errors. And coming to conclusion part, I would like to touch upon few real life example. Think of for loop like counting stairs in a building. You start at first stair, that is nothing but an initialization. You keep going while there are stairs left, that is nothing but a condition. After each step, you move to the next stair, that is like an increment. Similarly, while coming down from upper floors, uh, it will be a decrement part. And coming to summary, a for loop is a perfect for executing a block of code repeatedly, and it is highly versatile. It is allowing you to control the flow with break and continue statements. These are very important statements, and you can use it for tasks like counting, traversing arrays, or working with grids. Thank you for watching this video on for loops in C. I hope you found this session insightful and practical. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to Learniverse for more beginner friendly programming tutorials. Got any questions or topic you would like me to cover next? Drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep coding, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video on Learniverse.